Hello, familia. This is Luis Coto. Uh, I am. It's about I don't know 7:45 at the Monday evening. I was just watching watching the Hartford City Council meeting, and thanks to Josh Mishtam, councilperson Josh Mishtam for streaming it. It was hard to hear. And it was a short meeting because there were only 11 items. So but part of that is because I got a beat up old laptop. But also the acoustics in that room are horrible. And I think I'm gonna reach out to cable access because I know that they stream the live meeting, so that when eventually I get the website up and running, I can just like link it there, so people can hear it from the direct mics. I want to just acknowledge one thing that I haven't seen. Like in Boston, there's been like this really great acknowledgement and feature on the women of Boston City Council, and Cambridge similarly with the first Muslim mayor, and I have seen next to nothing from the local news sources about Mali Rosado. She is effectively like the first Latina president of the Hartford City Council ever. And that's pretty huge. And keep in mind, like the concept of a president of the council is relatively new, 20 plus years. When charter reform changed, it used to be that the president of the council, because it was a strong council form of government, was the de facto mayor. And then, it was just like, then they worked with a town administrator or COO type of person, city administrator. But so kudos to her. I don't know her that well. I don't know if we've met before. But this is gonna be, it's a big thing. So I think this is something that Hartford should be proud about. And I think they have some wonderful women representatives up in there. And I remember when like Pedro was council president, I remember Hartford Current doing like a little feature. I think they did something for Sean Wooden, and it says a lot that they're not doing anything for this woman. So I hope that changes, and I hope people acknowledge like that's pretty cool. But I did want to just like, I'm doing this tonight just on the fly real quick because something huge happened in this evening's meeting. The last item, if you remember the video that I put, the last item, item 11, was a resolution, or is a resolution, to name Wirdalis Bermudez as minority leader. Now, that is a default thing you do. But we should talk about what is a minority leader, what is a majority leader. So once the agenda is set, so Wednesday the agenda is set Wednesday before the meeting. So on Friday, or it's set up by the mayors, normally Friday, like when I was minority leader, I met with the mayor on Fridays. The leadership team gets together and with the mayor. So it's the mayor, the chief operating officer, chief of staff, and then the majority leader, the president, and the minority leader. And then what happens is that you literally go over the entire agenda, and the majority leader and the minority leader are able to let the mayor know if there are some concerns from the caucus on the agenda items. So you go down everything. And so the idea is that then the minority leader, majority leader go back to their caucus and explain what we're thinking can happen. And so basically that allows for the meeting to run relatively smoothly because everybody knows what's happening beforehand. Yes, sometimes there are issues, like the majority can want something that the minority doesn't want. Minority might just like still try to suspend the rules, or they might like try to vote it down and talk numbers. But for the most part, it's a very standard way of getting things done, of working, and it's the only reason majority and minority leaders exist. Because otherwise, you could just have a president do everything. Otherwise, there's no difference between the majority leader and the president. So in that meeting, you have 2 Democrats, because the Democrats are the majority leader, and then you have 1 minority member. I was minority leader when the Republicans had a had a representative, Councilwoman Veronica Wilson, myself, and Larry Deutsch. I was the leader for 2 years. Councilman Deutsch was the minority leader for 2 years. It was not a big thing. And after that meeting, I would meet with Veronica and Larry and tell them this is what went down. And we talk about it. And if Veronica had concerns, I would try to bring them forward. And we talk about a plan to vote, how to vote, even if she was Republican, right? Because we're all at the same time just trying to do the best for Hartford. So that's why the minority and majority leaders exist. So traditionally, keep in mind, this doesn't go like 500 decades. This isn't like history, because this is such a new position, new in the grand scheme of things with Hartford. Traditionally, the Democratic caucus has respected the minorities' decision for who their minority leader will be. Because keep in mind, everything is via vote. So if you get 5 votes, whatever motion passes. So yes, you don't need, yes, the Democrats have 6 votes. Now they have 7, but it's never been an issue. It wasn't an issue when I went up and I was and we had a Republican, it's never an issue. Heck, when Veronica Wilson resigned, I went to the Republicans, and without playing any games, I said, and Larry backed me up, we said, who do you want to be her replacement? And the Democrats at that time respected, they yielded to us. They respected our decision as a minority caucus. We said, at that time it was Corey Brinson, and the Republican committee said we'd like Corey Brinson to be there. They went through their own process. And we told the Dems we want Corey Brinson. And the Dems respected that. This is the first meeting of the council year. This sets the tone for the rest of the year. So what did the Dems do today? Tonight, the last item, I couldn't hear very well because of the stupid computer, but I heard Josh Mishtam speaking on the issue. And he spoke a little longer than just like, hey, I want to congratulate my council member. I look forward to working with her. And I didn't understand what was happening because I couldn't hear it. Then they took the vote, and little by little, every single Democrat abstained. Every single Democrat abstained on the vote, and so did Gail. Oh, sorry, I said every single Democrat. Sarcasm. So effectively killing that resolution, and then they adjourned the meeting right then and there. So they adjourned the meeting without introducing a new resolution which establishes any minority leader, whether Josh Mishtam or Councilman Gale. So they effectively have no minority leader, and this is something they're okay with. This is something the mayor has to be okay with. I'm sure the mayor is like, fine, I don't care. And I don't have a problem saying that because there's no way the mayor doesn't know. Unless I hear something tomorrow, a statement going, hey, what are you guys doing? How can you not have a minority leader? There is no way the mayor doesn't know that this has happened and that there will be leadership meetings without a minority leader. It is super unfortunate. And if the reason includes the fact that the 2 minority members abstained on the president vote, again, someone who I think should be lauded for being the first Latina president in the history of the Hartford City Council, I'm sure there were reasons for that. But for everyone to do that out of spite in the first meeting is pretty petty, given the fact that everyone knows what Wirdalis Bermudez brings to the position. And I think it makes perfect sense because this is his first time that Wirdalis would do this and prepare Josh for the next 2 years. So Councilman Mishtam can have his turn at leadership. So it is super unfortunate, but technically totally fine, right? They did not have 5 votes, and I'm surprised at some of the Democrats who decided to just stay. I guess it's too early to break rank. Dems will always be Dems. So it's super surprising, and I hope that everyone can get past this. It is going to be super new. I'll be interested to see what this means. Keep in mind that in certain items like to repeal a veto, you need a supermajority, which is 7. Normally you need 5. You need a vote of 5 to pass anything, but there are some ordinances and resolutions where you need, in some situations, where you need a supermajority. And the Democrats basically have that because they have someone who's been a Democrat all his life, and not just an affiliated Democrat, someone who's been involved with the Democratic Town Committee forever. Councilman Gale has been a parliamentary expert for them for a long time, and he's a good guy. They're all good people. This isn't about, oh, they're horrible. But when we talk about different people representing different interests in the city, and we have people like Councilman Mitchum and Councilwoman Bermudez who have shown their commitment to a certain segment. Let's face it, not everybody represents the 25,000 people in the city of Hartford. Then you should probably set up a process that is most respectful to that. That hasn't happened. I'm still going to keep trying to be super fair to the process and just let people know what's happening. Because they're, and point to people who are doing it. If you are on Twitter, follow Gannon Long. I think her Twitter handle is CTGLO. She tweets a lot, but she did a wonderful job of live tweeting the meeting tonight. And obviously look up the different council people and see if they're on Twitter. But they're council people now, so they're not necessarily going to be the most critical of themselves. Whereas people like Gannon, I don't think plays favorites, and you'll find others. And as I discover others, I'll put that out. But yeah, I thought I'd just give immediate reactions afterwards, and 12 minutes, I'm getting better. Not 20 minutes. What? And I got to put little man to bed. So yeah, it's a new day in Hartford City Council. The Democrats have really just stepped forward and said, we're going to do this, with or without you. That's my take. And we'll see what the next council agenda will be in 2 weeks for the last meeting of the month. And let's see what comes forward. Peace. Adios.